The world has gone quiet. Shadows stretch across the walls. Let your thoughts grow soft. A story waits in the stillness. If it brings you peace, like, subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a night. Now let the story find you. You step into the antique shop, the air thick with the scent of old wood and dust. The bell above the door chimes softly, a sound that feels like it's been waiting for you. The shop is a maze of forgotten things, cracked porcelain dolls, faded silk fans, and tarnished brass lamps. Your fingers brush against a shelf, stirring a faint cloud of dust that dances in the slanted light. You're not sure why you're here, only that something pulled you inside, like a whisper you couldn't quite hear. The shopkeeper, an old woman with eyes like polished obsidian, watches you from behind the counter. Her smile is knowing, as if she's seen you before, though you're certain you've never met. You wander deeper, your footsteps muffled on the creaky floorboards. Shelves tower above, leaning slightly, as if they might spill their secrets at any moment. You pause by a stack of lacquered boxes, their surfaces painted with cranes and cherry blossoms. One catches your eye, small and unassuming, its black surface gleaming faintly under the dim light. You reach for it, but your gaze is drawn to something else. Tucked in the corner, half hidden behind a frayed curtain, is a mirror. It's tall, its frame carved with delicate patterns of peonies and vines, the wood so dark it seems to drink the light. The glass is clouded, as if it hasn't been polished in years, yet it pulls at you. You step closer, your reflection blurred but strangely sharp at the edges, like a memory you can't quite place. Your breath catches. There's something in the glass, a flicker, a shadow that isn't yours. You blink and it's gone. The shop feels smaller now, the air heavier. You turn to leave, but the shopkeeper's voice stops you. "That mirror," she says, her words soft as a sigh, "it belonged to her." You glance back, unsure who her is, but the old woman's eyes are fixed on the mirror, her expression unreadable. "Take it if you dare," she adds, her smile curling like smoke. You hesitate, your hand hovering over the frame. It's beautiful, but there's a weight to it, a story you can't yet see. You decide to buy it. The shopkeeper wraps the mirror in soft cloth, her fingers lingering on the frame as if reluctant to let it go. She murmurs something in Japanese, too quiet for you to catch, and hands it to you with a nod. The mirror is lighter than you expected, but it feels alive in your hands, like it's humming faintly. You carry it home, the city outside fading into a blur of neon and rain. Your apartment is small, a cozy space filled with books and plants, but the mirror seems to claim the room the moment you set it against the wall. That night you can't sleep. The mirror stands in the corner, its surface catching the moonlight. You lie in bed, staring at it, half expecting to see that shadow again. The room is silent, but the silence feels like it's holding its breath. You close your eyes, trying to shake the unease, but your dreams are restless. In them, you see a woman in a white kimono, her face hidden by a fan painted with red camellias. She stands before the mirror, her movements slow, graceful, like a dance no one else can see. You wake with a start, your heart pounding. The mirror is still there, unchanged, but the air feels different, charged with something you can't name. You get up, your bare feet cold against the floor, and approach the glass. Your reflection stares back, but it feels like someone else is watching you, waiting. You touch the frame and it's warm, almost pulsing under your fingertips. A faint sound like the pluck of a shamisen echoes in the room, though you're alone. You step back, your breath shallow. The mirror doesn't feel like an object anymore. It feels like a door. You don't know where it leads, but you're certain it's somewhere you're meant to go. The woman in your dream, the one with the fan, lingers in your mind. Her presence was gentle, but there was a sadness in her, a longing that clings to you even now. You wonder who she was, what she wanted, and why the mirror feels like it's calling your name. The night stretches on, and you sit by the window, the city lights flickering outside. The mirror waits, silent but heavy with secrets. You know you could return it, leave it behind, but something tells you it's too late for that. The story has already begun, and you're part of it now. You glance at the mirror one last time before turning away, but in the corner of your eye, you swear you see the glass ripple, like water disturbed by a stone. You wake to the soft patter of rain against your window, the city outside draped in a gray haze. The mirror stands in the corner, its dark frame gleaming faintly, as if it's watching you. You try to ignore it, going through your morning routine, brewing coffee, checking your phone. But your eyes keep drifting back to the glass. It's just a mirror, you tell yourself, but the thought feels hollow. Last night's dream clings to you, the woman in the white kimono, her fan hiding her face. You can still hear the faint pluck of that shamisen, like a memory that isn't yours. You decide to distract yourself. You pull on a sweater and head to a nearby cafe, the mirror's presence lingering in your mind like a half-forgotten song. The cafe is warm, filled with the hum of conversation and the scent of fresh pastries. You settle at a corner table, sketching absent-mindedly in your notebook. Your pencil traces the outline of a fan, then a kimono, and you pause, realizing you're drawing her, the woman from your dream. You shake your head, closing the notebook, but the unease follows you. Back at your apartment, the mirror seems to have shifted slightly, though you're sure you haven't touched it. It's closer to the window now, catching the pale light of the rainy day. You approach it, your reflection staring back, but there's something off. Your eyes in the glass seem too still, too knowing. You lean closer, and for a moment you swear you see a flicker of red, the edge of a camellia painted on a fan. You blink and it's gone, but your heart races. You decide to learn more about the mirror. You sit at your desk, laptop open, searching for anything that might explain its strangeness. You type antique Japanese mirror and scroll through images of ornate frames and clouded glass, but none match the one in your room. You try Haunted Mirror Japan, half joking, but the results are sparse, mostly ghost stories and folklore. One article mentions yurei, spirits bound to objects, unable to move on. You skim it, feeling a chill, but dismiss it as superstition. Still, the word yurei sticks with you, heavy and cold. That evening, you invite a friend over, hoping company will shake the mirror's hold on you. Hana arrives, her bright laugh filling the apartment. She's always been the skeptic, the one who teases you for believing in ghost stories. You show her the mirror, expecting her to brush it off, but she pauses, her smile fading. "It's beautiful," she says, her voice quieter than usual, but it feels sad. You nod, unsure how to explain the dreams, the shamisen, the shadow in the glass. Hana suggests cleaning it, thinking a polish might make it less eerie. You agree, grabbing a cloth and some glass cleaner. As you wipe the surface, the cloth catches on something, a tiny carving in the frame you hadn't noticed before. It's a name etched in delicate kanji, Aiko. You trace the characters, feeling a warmth spread through your fingers. Hannah peers over your shoulder, her brow furrowed. "Who's Aiko?" she asks. You shake your head, but the name feels familiar, like a word you've always known, but never spoken. That night, after Hannah leaves, you dream again. You're standing in a garden, the air thick with the scent of cherry blossoms. The woman in the white kimono is there, her fan lowered. Nauser 18 now, revealing a pale face framed by long black hair. Her eyes are dark, filled with a quiet sorrow. She doesn't speak, but her gaze meets yours, and you feel a pull, like she's asking you to follow her. The shamisen plays again, its notes sharp and clear, echoing through the garden. You wait before she moves, your heart pounding, the name Aiko ringing in your mind. You lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, the mirror's reflection glinting in the corner of your eye. You can't shake the feeling that Aiko is more than a name carved in wood. She's part of the mirror, part of you now. You get up, unable to sleep, and sit by the window, watching the rain streak down the glass. The mirror is silent, but it feels alive, its presence a weight in the room. You wonder what Aiko wanted, why her name is etched into the frame, why her shadow lingers in your dreams. You try to distract yourself, scrolling through your phone, but your thoughts keep circling back to the mirror. You search for Aiko Japanese name, meaning, hoping for a clue. The results say it means beloved child or child of love. It's a gentle name, but it carries a sadness like a promise unfulfilled. You glance at the mirror, its surface still and dark, but you feel it watching you, waiting for you to understand. The night is quiet, but the silence feels heavy, as if the mirror is holding its breath, ready to speak. You can't stop thinking about Aiko. Her name hums in your mind as you move through your day, the mirror's presence a constant weight in your apartment. You try to focus on work, your laptop screen glowing with emails and deadlines, but your thoughts drift to the garden from your dream, the cherry blossoms, the woman's sorrowful eyes. You wonder if Aiko is trying to tell you something, if the mirror is more than an antique. You push the thought away, telling yourself it's just your imagination, but the air feels heavier each time you pass the mirror. You decide to visit the antique shop again, hoping the shopkeeper can tell you more. The city is alive with the hum of evening, neon lights reflecting on wet pavement. The shop is exactly as you left it, cramped and cluttered, the bell chiming softly as you step inside. The old woman is there, her eyes meeting yours the moment you enter, as if she's been expecting you. You ask about the mirror, about Aiko, and her smile fades, replaced by a look you can't quite read. Some things, she says, her voice low, are better left untouched. You press her, mentioning the name carved in the frame, but she only shakes her head. Aiko was a geisha long ago, she says finally, her words careful. The mirror was hers. It holds her story. You wait for more, but she busies herself with a stack of papers, her silence a wall. You leave the shop, frustration mixing with curiosity, the mirror's weight heavier in your mind. The city feels distant as you walk home, the name Aiko echoing with every step. That night you dream again. You're in a room lit by paper lanterns, their soft glow casting shadows on shoshi screens. Aiko is there, her white kimono shimmering like moonlight. She's dancing now, her movements slow and precise, each step a story told in silence. The shamisen plays, its notes weaving through the air, and you feel a pull, like you're meant to join her. You try to move, but your feet are heavy, rooted to the floor. Aiko turns, her eyes meeting yours, and for a moment you see tears glistening on her cheeks. You wake with a gasp, the room dark except for the mirror's faint gleam. You get up, your heart racing, and approach the glass. Your reflection is there, but it feels like Aiko's eyes are watching you, not your own. You touch the frame, the carved name warm under your fingers. The air shifts, and you hear it again, the faint pluck of a shamisen, so soft you're not sure it's real. You step back, your breath shallow, and notice something new. A faint crack runs along the mirror's edge, barely visible, like a vein of light. You try to shake the unease, turning on every light in the apartment, but the mirror seems to dim them all. You sit on the couch, staring at it, wondering what Aiko's story is, why she's bound to the glass. You think about the shopkeeper's words, about things better left untouched, but it's too late for that. The mirror is part of your life now, its secrets tangled with your own. You wonder if Aiko was betrayed, if her tears were for a love lost or a life cut short. The thought makes your chest ache. The next day, you call Hana, hoping her practicality will ground you. She listens as you tell her about the dreams, the shamisen, the crack in the mirror. Her voice is cautious, but she doesn't laugh. Maybe you should get rid of it, she says, but you can't imagine letting it go. The mirror feels like a puzzle, one you're meant to solve. Hana suggests researching geishas, thinking history might explain Aiko's story. You spend hours online reading about their lives, their art, their sacrifices. You find stories of love and loss, but none mention Aiko. That evening, you sit by the mirror, a cup of tea cooling in your hands. You speak to it, half expecting an answer, asking Aiko who she was, what she wants. The room is silent, but the mirror seems to listen, its surface catching the flicker of a candle you lit. You notice the crack again, longer now, spider webbing across the glass. It doesn't scare you, not exactly, but it feels like a sign, like Aiko is reaching out. You wonder if the mirror is breaking or if it's opening, revealing something hidden inside. You dream again that night, but this time you're not just watching. You're in Aiko's body, her kimono heavy on your shoulders, her fan in your hands. You feel her sadness, her longing, like it's your own. You're standing before a man, his face blurred, his voice sharp with anger. You try to speak, but the words aren't yours. The shamisen plays, louder now, drowning out his voice. You wake, your cheeks wet with tears that don't feel like yours. The mirror stands in the corner, its crack glowing faintly, like it's waiting for you to understand. You can't shake the dream, the weight of Aiko's kimono, the sting of tears that weren't yours. The mirror looms in your apartment, its crack now a jagged line, catching the morning light like a frozen lightning bolt. You avoid looking at it directly, but its presence pulls at you, a quiet demand for attention. You sip your coffee, the mug warm in your hands, and try to focus on the day ahead. But your thoughts keep circling back to Aiko, to the man in the dream, his blurred face and angry voice. You wonder who he was, what he meant to her, and why his shadow lingers in the glass. You decide to dig deeper. You pull out your laptop, searching for anything that might connect Aiko to the mirror. You try Aiko geisha history, but the results are vague, filled with unrelated names and stories. You switch to Japanese mirrors folklore, hoping for a clue. You read about ancient beliefs, how mirrors were thought to hold spirits, gateways to another world. The words send a shiver through you, but you tell yourself it's just a story. Still, the crack in the mirror feels like more than an accident, like it's part of Aiko's story breaking through. You head to the library, needing a change of scenery. The building is old, its shelves lined with books that smell of time and ink. You ask the librarian, a kind man with wire-rimmed glasses, if they have anything on geishas or antique mirrors. He leads you to a section on Japanese history, pulling out a dusty book about Edo period culture. You flip through it, your fingers lingering on pages about geishas, their lives bound by art and obligation. There's no mention of Aiko, but you find a passage about mirrors, how they were sometimes buried with their owners to carry their souls. You close the book, your heart heavy. Back home, the mirror seems to have shifted again, now facing your bed. You're sure you didn't move it, but the thought of touching it makes your skin prickle. You sit on the couch, staring at the glass, its crack now spreading like roots. You wonder if Aiko is trapped inside, her spirit caught in the mirror's clouded depths. The thought feels absurd, but it clings to you, as real as the shamisen echo in your dreams. You light a candle, hoping its warmth will calm you, but the flame flickers as if stirred by a breath you can't feel. That night you dream of Aiko again. You're in a tea house, its walls lined with silk tapestries. Aiko is there, her kimono now red, vibrant as the camellias on her fan. She's serving tea, her movements graceful, but her eyes are distant, fixed on a man across the room. He's young, his face still blurred, but his presence fills the space with tension. You feel Aiko's heart racing, a mix of hope and fear. She pours the tea, her hands steady, but you sense her longing, her need to speak words she can't say. The shamisen plays, its notes sharp and urgent, and the man turns away, leaving her alone. You wake, your chest tight, the room dark except for the mirror's faint glow. You get up, drawn to the glass, and notice the crack has grown, now curling around the carved name Aiko. You touch it, and the frame is warm, almost alive. A soft hum fills the air, like the shamisen but softer, more like a sigh. You step back, your breath catching, and see something in the mirror. Not your reflection, but Aiko's, her face pale, her eyes pleading. She's there for only a moment, then gone, leaving you staring at your own wide-eyed face. You try to sleep again, but the night feels restless, the air thick with something unspoken. You sit by the window, watching the city lights flicker, and think about Aiko's life. Was she in love with the man in the tea house? Did he break her heart, or was it something worse? You feel her sadness as if it's your own, a weight that settles in your bones. You wonder if the mirror is showing you her story or pulling you into it, blurring the line between your world and hers. The next day you call Hannah again, needing someone to talk to. She listens, her voice softer than usual, and suggests you visit a shrine, thinking a prayer might ease the mirror's hold. You're not sure you believe in that, but the idea of doing something feels better than sitting with your thoughts. You find a small shrine nearby, its red torii gate standing bright against the gray sky. You light incense, the smoke curling upward, and whisper Aiko's name, asking for peace, for answers. The air feels lighter, But the mirror waits at home, its crack growing, its secrets still locked inside. You return from the shrine, the scent of incense still clinging to your clothes. The city hums around you, but your thoughts are with the mirror, its cracked surface waiting in your apartment. You feel different now, not calmer exactly, but more resolute, as if the prayer you whispered for Aiko has tethered you to her story. You wonder if she felt it wherever she is, or if the mirror is the only bridge between you. The weight of her sadness lingers, a quiet ache that follows you through the crowded streets. Back home, the mirror seems to claim the room more than ever. The crack has spread further, a delicate web stretching across the glass, glinting faintly in the evening light. You avoid touching it, but you can't stop looking. Your reflection feels less like your own each day, as if Aiko's presence is seeping into you, her eyes blending with yours. You sit on the floor, a blanket draped over your shoulders, and stare at the mirror, wondering what she wants you to see. The air is still, but you hear it again, the soft pluck of a shamisen, like a heartbeat in the silence. You decide to try something new. You pull out a notebook and start writing what you know about Aiko, piecing together fragments from your dreams. The white kimono, the red camellias, the tea house, the man with the blurred face. You sketch the fan, its petals vivid against the page, and write her name, Aiko, the kanji looping under your pen. The act of writing feels like a ritual, as if you're calling her closer. The mirror watches, its crack seeming to pulse with each word you write. That night, your dream is sharper, more vivid. You're in Aiko's body again, standing in a narrow street lined with wooden houses, their lanterns casting warm pools of light. You feel the weight of her kimono, the cool night air on your skin. Aiko is walking, her steps quick, her heart racing. You sense her urgency, a need to find someone, to say something before it's too late. The man from the tea house is there, waiting at the end of the street. His face is clearer now, sharp cheekbones and dark eyes, but his expression is cold, distant. You try to speak, but Aiko's voice is silent, her fan clutched tightly in her hands. The shamisen plays, its notes frantic, and you feel Aiko's despair, a longing so deep it hurts. The man turns away, his silhouette fading into the night, and you're left standing alone, the street empty, except for the echo of his footsteps. You wake, your breath ragged, tears damp on your pillow. The mirror is there, its crack glowing softly, as if it's absorbed the dream. You get up, your legs unsteady, and approach the glass. This time you see her clearly, Aiko's face in place of yours, her eyes wide with unspoken words. You stumble back, your heart pounding. The mirror feels alive now, not just a reflection but a window to Aiko's world. You wonder if she's trapped, if the crack is her way of reaching out, or if you're the one being drawn in. You sit by the window, the city lights blurred by your thoughts, and try to make sense of it. The man in the dream, was he her lover? Did he abandon her, or was there something more? You feel her pain as if it's yours, a wound that hasn't healed. The next day, you call Hannah, needing her voice to ground you. She's worried, her usual teasing replaced by concern. She suggests you talk to someone who knows about spirits, maybe a priest at the shrine. You're hesitant, but the mirror's pull is stronger now, and you need answers. You visit the shrine again, the red torii gate a stark contrast to the gray sky. The priest is kind, his face lined with years of quiet wisdom. You tell him about the mirror, the dreams, Aiko's name. He listens, his eyes thoughtful, and says, "Some spirits linger because they're unfinished." The mirror may be her anchor, her way of speaking. He gives you a small talisman, a slip of paper with inked prayers, and tells you to place it near the mirror. You thank him, clutching the talisman as you leave, but you're not sure it will help. Back home, you set the talisman on the table beside the mirror. It's cracked now, a network of lines, like a map to somewhere unknown. You speak to Aiko, your voice soft, asking her what she needs, why she's here. The room is quiet, but the shamisen hums faintly, a sound that feels like an answer you can't yet understand. You lie in bed that night, the talisman's presence a small comfort. You don't dream, but you wake to a sound, a single note from the shamisen, sharp and clear. The mirror's crack is wider, the glass shimmering as if it's breathing. You feel Aiko closer now, her story unfolding in your mind, piece by piece. You wonder what she'll show you next, what truth lies behind the man's cold eyes, and whether you're strong enough to face it. You wake to a stillness that feels heavier than before, the talisman on the table undisturbed, but somehow less reassuring in the morning light. The mirror stands in its corner, its crack now a sprawling web, glinting like frost on a winter window. You avoid looking at it directly, but its presence pulls at you, a quiet insistence that grows stronger each day. You make tea, the steam curling upward, and try to focus on the ordinary, but Aiko's story clings to you, her sorrow woven into your thoughts. You wonder if the mirror is changing you, if her pain is becoming yours. You decide to take a walk, hoping the city's noise will drown out the shamaisen's echo in your mind. The streets are alive with people, their voices blending into a hum that feels distant, like you're moving through a dream. You pass a small shop selling traditional instruments, and there, in the window, is a shamisen, its strings taut and gleaming. You pause, your breath catching, and for a moment, you swear you hear a single note, sharp and familiar. You shake your head, telling yourself it's just your imagination, but the sound follows you, faint as a whisper. Back home, the mirror seems to have grown, though you know that's impossible. It dominates the room, its frame darker, the crack pulsing with a soft light. You sit on the floor, the talisman in your hand, and stare at the glass. You speak to Aiko, your voice barely above a whisper, asking her to show you more, to let you understand. The air shifts, and the shamisen plays again, louder now, its notes weaving a melody that feels like a memory. You close your eyes, letting the sound guide you, and when you open them, the mirror's surface is rippling, like water, touched by. That night, your dream pulls you deeper into Aiko's world. You're in her body again, standing in a room filled with the scent of jasmine and candle wax. The man from the tea house is there, his face clear now, his dark eyes sharp with something between anger and regret. You feel Aiko's heart racing, her hands trembling as she holds her fan, its red camellias bright against the dim light. She speaks, her voice soft but firm, asking him to stay, to choose her. His response is cold, his words cutting, though you can't make them out. You feel her pain, a sharp ache that spreads through you, and the shamaisen's notes turn discordant, mirroring her breaking heart. You wake with a start, your chest tight, the room dark except for the mirror's faint glow. You get up, drawn to the glass, and see the crack has spread further, now curling around the edges like a vine. You touch the frame and it's warm, almost burning, but you don't pull away. Aiko's face appears in the mirror, her eyes locked on yours, her expression a mix of desperation and hope. She mouths something, a single word you can't hear, and then she's gone, leaving your reflection staring back, wide-eyed and shaken. You sit by the window, the city lights flickering outside, and try to piece together the dream. The man, his rejection, Aiko's plea, it all feels so real, like you lived it yourself. You wonder if he was her lover, if his refusal broke her, or if there's more to the story. The talisman lies on the table, its prayers silent, and you wonder if it's protecting you or simply delaying the inevitable. You feel Aiko's presence stronger now, as if she's standing just behind you, her breath a whisper you can't quite hear. The next day you call Hannah, needing her voice to anchor you. She's hesitant, her usual warmth tempered by worry. She suggests you move the mirror, maybe store it somewhere, but the thought feels wrong, like betraying Aiko. You tell her about the dream, the man's cold eyes, and she listens quietly, then says maybe she needs you to finish something she couldn't. The words linger, heavy and true, and you wonder if Aiko's story is a puzzle you're meant to solve, a wound you're meant to heal. You spend the evening researching again, digging through old stories of geishas and lost love. You find tales of heartbreak, of women bound by duty, their desires buried under layers of tradition. None mention Aiko, but they feel close, like echoes of her life. You sketch her fan again, its camellias vivid on the page, and write down the man's features, trying to capture his face before it fades. The mirror watches, its crack glowing softly, and you feel a pull, like Aiko is urging you to keep going, to uncover the truth. You lie in bed that night, the talisman beside you, the mirror's presence a weight in the room. You don't dream, but you wake to a sound, a single shamisen note, sharp and clear. The crack in the mirror is wider, the glass shimmering like a portal. You feel Aiko closer than ever, her story unfolding, pulling you toward something you can't yet see. You wonder what she'll show you next, what truth lies behind the man's rejection, and whether you're ready to face it. You wake with a heaviness in your chest, the echo of Aiko's pain still lingering from the night before. The mirror stands in its corner, its crack now a jagged tapestry, weaving across the glass like a story desperate to be told. You avoid its gaze, but its presence fills the room, a silent call that tugs at you. You make breakfast, the clink of your spoon against the bowl too loud in the quiet, but your thoughts are with Aiko, with the man's cold eyes and her unspoken words. You wonder if you're losing yourself in her story, or if she's finding herself in you. You try to distract yourself, tidying the apartment, watering your plants, but the mirror draws your eyes. The talisman sits beside it, its inked prayers faded in the morning light, as if its power is waning. You pick it up, turning it over in your hands, and feel a pang of guilt, like you're failing Aiko by not understanding her yet. You sit on the couch, staring at the glass, and speak her name softly, asking her to show you more. The air hums, and for a moment, you swear the crack pulses, like a heartbeat caught in the mirror. You decide to visit the antique shop again, hoping the shopkeeper might share more. The city is quiet today, the streets bathed in pale sunlight. The shop feels smaller, its shelves more crowded, as if the objects are closing in. The old woman is there, her eyes meeting yours with that same knowing look. You ask about Aiko, about the man in your dreams, but she only sighs, her fingers tracing the edge of a lacquered box. Some stories are heavy, she says, her voice soft. Aiko loved too deeply, and it bound her. You press for more, but she turns away, leaving you with questions and no answers. Back home, the mirror seems to have shifted again, now angled toward the window, catching the fading light. You notice something new, a faint smudge on the glass, like a fingerprint that isn't yours. You wipe it, but it doesn't budge, and the crack seems to grow under your touch, spreading like ink in water. You step back, your heart racing, and hear the shamisen again, its notes slow and mournful, filling the room with a sadness that feels alive. You wonder if Aiko is trying to speak, if the mirror is her voice, her story breaking through the glass. That night, your dream pulls you deeper than ever. You're in Aiko's body, standing on a bridge over a quiet river, the water reflecting the moon. The man is there, his face sharp and clear, his dark eyes filled with a mix of longing and anger. You feel Aiko's heart breaking, her hands clutching her fan as she speaks, her voice trembling but resolute. She's begging him, not for love but for freedom, for a promise he made and broke. His words are sharp, cutting her down, and you feel her despair, a wave that threatens to drown you. The shamisen plays, its notes a wail, and the man walks away, leaving Aiko alone on the bridge. You wake, your face wet with tears, the room dark except for the mirror's glow. You get up, drawn to the glass, and see Aiko's reflection again, her kimono red, her eyes pleading. She reaches out, her hand pressing against the inside of the glass, and you feel a pull, like she's asking you to join her. You touch the mirror, and it's warm, the crack burning under your fingers. The shamisen plays louder, its melody wrapping around you, and for a moment you swear you feel her hand, soft and cold, brushing against yours. You stumble back, your breath shallow, and sit by the window, the city lights a blur. You think about Aiko's plea, the promise the man broke, and wonder what tied her to the mirror. Was it love, betrayal, or something deeper? You feel her closer now, her presence a weight in your chest, and you know you can't turn away. The talisman lies on the table, its prayers silent, and you wonder if it's protecting you or holding Aiko back. You speak to her again, your voice steady, promising to listen, to help her find peace. The next day you call Hannah, needing her practicality to ground you. She's quiet, her voice tight with worry, and suggests you destroy the mirror, thinking it might free you both. The idea feels wrong, like breaking Aiko's heart all over again. You tell her you need to understand, to finish what Aiko started. She sighs, promising to come over soon, but you feel alone, the mirror's pull stronger than ever. You sit by it, your notebook open, and write down the bridge, the river, the man's betrayal. The crack in the glass glows, and you feel Aiko watching, waiting for you to uncover the final piece of her story. You wake with a start, the echo of Aiko's despair still ringing in your ears. The mirror stands in its corner, its crack now a jagged mosaic, the glass shimmering as if it's alive. You feel her presence stronger than ever, a quiet urgency that pulls at you, urging you to finish what she started. You sit up, the room bathed in the soft glow of dawn, and notice the talisman on the table, its edges curling as if touched by time. You wonder if it's losing its power, or if Aiko's story is too strong to be contained. You make tea, the ritual grounding you, but your eyes keep drifting to the mirror. The crack seems to pulse, a faint light weaving through it, like a thread tying you to Aiko. You feel her sadness, her longing, as if they're woven into your own heart. You sit by the mirror, your notebook open, and write down the bridge from your dream, the river's reflection, the man's betrayal. You sketch her fan, its red camellias vivid on the page, and whisper her name, asking her to show you the end. The air hums, and the shamisen plays, its notes soft but insistent, guiding you forward. You decide to return to the shrine, needing clarity. The city is quiet, the streets empty, except for the rustle of leaves. The red torii gate stands bright against the morning sky, and you find the priest inside, his eyes kind but searching. You tell him about the dreams, the man Aiko's plea for freedom. He listens, his hands folded, and says, "Some spirits are bound by promises unkept. To free her, you must understand her truth." He gives you a new talisman, its ink fresh, and tells you to place it in the mirror's frame to offer Aiko peace. Back home, you slip the talisman into the carved name Aiko, the paper fitting perfectly, as if the frame was made for it. The mirror trembles, the crack glowing brighter, and you feel a warmth spread through you, like Aiko is thanking you. You sit by the window, watching the city wake, and feel a shift, as if the mirror is ready to reveal its final secret. You close your eyes, letting the shamisen melody fill you, and when you open them, the glass is rippling, a soft wave that invites you closer. That night, your dream is clearer than ever. You're in Aiko's body, standing in a garden under a full moon, cherry blossoms falling like snow. The man is there, his face etched with regret, his hands clenched at his sides. You feel Aiko's heart, heavy with love and betrayal, as she speaks, her voice steady now. She tells him she forgives him, that she releases him from the promise he broke. His eyes soften, and for a moment, you see the man he might have been, the one she loved. The shamisen plays, its notes gentle, and Aiko turns to you, her face radiant, her eyes free of sorrow. You wake, your cheeks wet, but the tears feel like relief, not pain. The mirror is still, its crack no longer glowing, the glass clear for the first time. You approach it, your reflection sharp and true, and see no trace of Aiko. You touch the frame and it's cool, the warmth gone, the talisman still nestled in the carved name. The shamisen is silent, the air light, as if a weight has lifted. You sit on the couch, your notebook in your lap, and write the end of Aiko's story, her forgiveness, her freedom. The next day you call Hannah, your voice steady, as you tell her it's over. She comes over, her eyes wide as she sees the mirror, its surface unclouded, its crack still, but no longer alive. She hugs you, her relief palpable, and you feel a quiet pride, knowing you helped Aiko find peace. You keep the mirror, not because it pulls at you, but because it feels like a friend now, a keeper of a story you shared. The city outside hums with life, and you feel lighter, as if Aiko's freedom has freed you too. You sit by the window that evening, watching the sunset paint the sky. The mirror stands quietly, its secrets told, its purpose fulfilled. You think of Aiko, her red camellias, her dance under the moon, and smile knowing she's at rest. The talisman remains in the frame, a reminder of the bond you shared, the story you helped her finish. You close your notebook, the pages filled with her life, and feel a quiet peace, like the stillness after a song. Some stories stay with us long after the words fade. Let this one rest beside you. Sleep deeply, and if it returns in your dreams, perhaps it was never truly gone.